Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Rom's take on love. First, let me give a shout out to Isaiah Parks. This is a gentleman, he had been requesting this video for a while, just what my take on, that whole thing called love, right? So shout out to him. And also subscribe to my new channel, Rom Wills About That Business, and also check out my websites and check out my column on the Negro Manosphere, the Black Juggernaut. So anyway, getting back to this thing we call love. What's my take on it? Now, here's a story. I've told this a couple times. In fact, I told it in a recent video because it really set the tone for how I looked at love, right? I talk about when me and my buddy were young and, we were talking with this older brother driving with him, this old elder, right? And he asked us what love is. And, we told him all the biological stuff, but he said, nah. He said it's compassion, it's responsibility, it's forgiveness, it's tolerance, it's admiration, it's acknowledgement. And he told us a whole lot of stuff. And that's really, ever since then, I haven't looked at love or that romantic type of love thing. Because as the Honorable Malcolm X said in his book, The Autobiography of Malcolm X, in Western culture, when you break down love, it's nothing but lust, right? So I've always had that feeling, right? I've always had that. But then as I grew older in wisdom and experience, I realized, hey, that lust plays a part too. So when you get down to it, what is love? Is it that thing that's more in the head, or is it that thing that's more in the loins? I would say it's a bit of both. Now check it out. Think about some things, right? Just think about some things. There are many people, both professional relationship experts and regular folks, who believe that a man and woman should connect on similar values, racial backgrounds, social economic backgrounds, educational attainment, careers, religious views, even credit scores. They feel like people will have the best chance of making a relationship successful if their value system is similar. Hey, strong argument for it. This is a relationship based on logic. It's like, hey, you know what? We like the same things. We want to go to the same places. Only problem is these people might have something in common, but the physical thing isn't there. But that doesn't matter for people who follow that type of philosophy. And they will say, okay, we got the similar values. They're more in their head. But these relationships tend to lack that passion. And passion is very important for the body. I mean, a person can be healed off of sex. They can be healed off of sex. But see, not only does it lack passion, but what happens when one of the parties changes their value system? Say you get an attorney and an accountant, they get married, right? Sex life is normal, but everything is based on them being both professionals. But what happens if that man changes or she changes and he wants to be a landscaper or something? You got some issues there. The value system changed. So you know what, they probably headed towards a divorce. But that doesn't mean being in their heads or something based on similar values isn't important. So keep that in mind. Then you get the other side, right? There's a growing number of people out there talking about the sexual side of relationships. Hell, I focus on sexual development, right? But there's still problems with it. the sex is great, but you know what? I don't care who you deal with, how beautiful they are, how sexy they are. You get tired of it. And plus, many relationships based on that lust tend to lack direction. You know, everything cool as long as both parties are having sex. But once they, you know, when practical matters come up, and they do, you know, when that light bill comes due, or, you know, the car breaks down, or if their kids involved, you know, one of them gets sick, or one of the parties gets sick, or somebody gets laid off a job. You know, there's some type of emergency. There's some family issues. When real life intrudes, there tends to be a problem. You know, then after a while, you know, both parties are like, you know what, the sex is great, but boom, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this person outside the bedroom. And many of us have been in those relationships where, you know, the sex is great, but you rather not deal with that person otherwise. And of course, a relationship like that is, you know, there's going to be problems because at least one party in the relationship, or the sex, you know, the sexual, whatever, friends with benefits, whatever you want to call it, at least one of them is going to want something more. So what does all this have to do with love? Well, think about it. Think about what I said at first. And I still maintain that, even though it seems like it's slanted towards more the logic side of it, it's, you know, it's still compassion, it's still tolerance, it's still responsibility. So how do you reconcile, you know, the head side of it, the logic side, the value system side, and the pure lust side? See, ultimately, love is a bond. It's a connection between two people. When you say you love that person, it's because you feel some type of connection. And not just a sexual connection. See, a lot of women do it, but so do men sometimes. Like, women do it, they, you know, I just did a video on, you know, a woman saying she loves you but is not in love with you. You know, her connection is based on lust. But let's not let men off the hook in this way. Fellas, I got to call us out on this one. How many men out there have married a woman or told themselves they love the woman for no other reason is that she's the only woman who will have sex with them on the regular? Or depending on how devout they are in their particular religious path, they might just do it just to legitimize having sex. How many men have done that? So, you know, both sides got some doo-doo in that. Both sides. Now, and then, you know, of course, if it's just based on values, the values, which is important, but that, I'm gonna tell you what, that takes a lot of maturity. You know, true love. If you think about what is love, what's the symbol that love is represented by? It's represented by the heart. And the heart, that's a powerful thing, both as far as keeping you alive physically, but also metaphorically, metaphysically. Because what is the heart? The heart is the halfway point, is the meeting point between the loins and the head. It's right there in the middle. What it does is balance things out. See, when you have a heart connection, see, that's one of the things we don't talk about in relationships. We talk about everything else. We talk about all the values and stuff. We have these intellectual conversations, right? But then, and you know, we throw money in there. But then, you know, another group, they're like, well, you know, they gotta have a fat ass, or they gotta have a big chest, or they gotta have a big dick. Oh yeah, I hear y'all ladies. You know, but neither one of them any good. See, the heart, there has to be a connection. There has to be a bond that's between a man and a woman. That's real love, when there's a bond. And see, that bond is partly sexual, it's partly value system, but it's a balance. And when you have that bond, you basically truly connected to that person. See, most people, even when they get married, aren't truly connected at the heart level. You know, as this young lady told me one time, you know, that person doesn't pull their heartstrings. But that's important. And it's deeper than just saying emotion. Because that bond, really, yeah, you have some lust in there, but maybe that person isn't inspiring of that lust as you would like them to be, but there's still some lust there. Maybe the value system is there, or maybe the value system is there more. Well, I'm just about to say the same thing, but y'all know what I mean. It was like one of the things it brings balance, and then once the couple starts sharing things, once they really develop a bond, which is at the heart level, that's how they can grow together. That's love. That's that connection. That's that connection where you can tolerate the other person's quirks. You could tolerate that there is some differences. You can at least respect the differences. You can tolerate, women, y'all can tolerate that dude, if he's sleeping in a certain position, is going to snore. A man's going to have to tolerate, it's just some nights that woman ain't down for anything. She just want to be by herself. It's also an understanding. It's a respect. It's a knowledge of a person, knowing who they are, understanding who they are. But see, all of that stems from that bond. When y'all together, and it's like, that's that bond that a man and woman can use to get through life. Because men and women are not meant to go through life alone. We're not built that way. We are literally built for each other. Even to the point certain genitals are going to fit together. Like when a man and a woman are truly compatible, even a penis and a vagina will fit. Trust me on that. Now, that's some deeper stuff I get into on my private site. But trust me, I can. And some people who I've shared it with, I'm not going to share it here because some people ain't ready for it. So when I know people come to my private site, I know they ready to hear stuff. But the people I've shared it and the insights into the natural blueprint of relating, they were like, they tried it, they did the stuff I said, and they were like, damn, Ron, damn, you right. But, and that's not a plug for my stuff, but, it's just understanding, right? It's being able to deal with that person who might not look as good, or it might be able to deal with that person who, the value systems might not line up exactly, but it's still something. It's still y'all click, and it's to the point y'all can actually make it. Now the problem is, in these relationships, we not engaging the heart. And let's be real. How many of us really engage in the heart? Let's be real. We don't talk about it. We either talking about getting that ass, or getting it good, or we talking about, well, since we in the same social class, we should be together. See, one of the things, it's almost like we scared to talk about it, really, to be honest. But that's something I've always realized, and that's that heart connection. That's really where it's at, because it balances everything else out. That heart connection will, make someone's more interesting to you. Make their jokes a bit funnier. Give you, allow you to talk to them more, even though there might be some, minor differences. That heart connection makes someone look physically better. So, you know what? That guy who might be just 5'8", he'll be all right with the woman because she has that heart connection. Or that woman who, butt ain't as round, may have a little bit around her waist, because that man has a heart connection to her. He can see her as beautiful. So, and I'm going to say it like this, because I'm going to just put this out there, because I know there's some people, they always going to be contrary or think they know something. As I said with the title, this is Rom's take on it. All right. And all I would want you to do is just think about it. That's it. Now, if you don't agree, you just don't agree. It's not a debate. It really isn't. But, I was asked to share my take on love, and that's my take. Yeah, I have it based on plenty of experience, but hey, since it's something that we don't talk about in these discussions, maybe there's a lot more to be said. And this probably is a lot more to be said, you know? Because I'm quite sure somebody else, they'll bring something else. And, you know, that's cool. And maybe the thing is we just need to really start discussing it. Maybe that's it. All right? Then we can come to a consensus. So that's how I'm going to say it. All right? Anyway, I want to thank y'all for listening. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.